Patrician Atheist here. Are you a secular humanist? Well, are you? It is not always an easy call to make, and it takes a lot of personal reflection, research, and thought to finally get to the point where you can say that you are, in fact, a secular humanist. Heck, it often takes a lot of that effort just to declare yourself an atheist, agnostic, or general religious skeptic. The problem is that declaring yourself solely as an atheist or religious skeptic is not a positive declaration of your beliefs, what you actually believe. It is a declaration of what you do not believe. And declaring yourself an atheist or religious skeptic is just the means to reaching the possible end that is secular humanism. Personally, it took me almost 20 years of my life to finally realize this end. And theists still love to attack me based on what I do not believe, rather than for what I do believe and why I believe it. They do not seem to realize that this speaks more to their own position's weaknesses, as they seem to have nothing on my life philosophy. Quite frankly, declaring yourself an atheist, religious skeptic, and/or someone who buys into the secular life philosophy of secular humanism is a decision you must work your way to. Honestly, it is a lot easier just to give up thinking about and asking the big questions that concern humanity and be a Christian or other supposedly all-knowledgeable theist. After all, they believe they have all the answers and have stopped looking. And this is probably why when we argue with these theists, our superstitious fellow humans, often the first thing they do is attack us for what we do not believe because we deny their fabricated truth. Never mind what we actually believe. So are you a secular humanist? And what is secular humanism? Well, let's start with the first question. According to a list from the Institute for Humanist Studies, you may be a secular humanist if you try to live an ethical and fulfilling life without religious belief. You think science and reason lead to more reliable knowledge than faith. You support secular government and an open society that guarantees human rights for all. You make sense of the world using reason, experience, and shared human values. You see no convincing evidence for gods, the supernatural, or life after death. You believe that moral values are properly founded on human empathy and scientific understanding. And finally, you believe we must live this life on the basis that it is the only life we'll have, that therefore we must make the most of it for ourselves, each other, and our world. Secular humanism can be defined as a comprehensive life stance that upholds human reason, ethics, and justice, and rejects supernaturalism, pseudoscience, and superstition. A doctrine, attitude, or way of life centered on human interests or values, especially a philosophy that usually rejects supernaturalism and stresses an individual's dignity and worth and capacity for self-realization through reason. An approach to life based on reason and our common humanity, recognizing that moral values are properly founded on human nature and experience alone. A democratic and ethical life stance which affirms that human beings have the right and responsibility to give meaning and shape to their own lives. It stands for the building of a more humane society through an ethics based on human and other natural values in a spirit of reason and free inquiry through human capabilities. It is not theistic, and it does not accept supernatural views of reality. Please also note that when someone uses the terms humanist and/or humanism, they are almost always referring to secular humanist and secular humanism, respectively. Personally, and in order to always be clear and accurate, I will always use the terms secular humanist and secular humanism. I like to be concise, and there is a form of recognized religious humanism out there, which is certainly not the same thing. To be sure, the path to secular humanism can be very short or extremely long. It all depends on where our starting point is and what tools those around us have given us throughout our lives. Admittedly, I took one of the longer paths, which is why I am speaking now to inform others of secular humanism. It just may be a fit with your non-religious beliefs and allow you to give those nagging theists some clear positive claims about your beliefs, which are based on science and reason instead of blind, unsubstantiated faith and appeals to emotion. Secular humanism truly is a philosophy that must be earned through personal reflection, research, and thought. It is a secular philosophy of unadulterated, unapologetic rationalism. In the end, secular humanism is a position each individual must arrive to on their own as a freethinker. It is a straightforward philosophy that stands on its own and will not try to trick or guilt you into buying into it. And the next time a theist asks you what you believe or asserts that you believe in nothing, secular humanism is a great answer to shoot back at them. Followed, of course, by a reminder to them that their own beliefs require logical fact-based evidence, or the admission that there is none. So, are you a secular humanist? Patrician atheist? See you around.